toll of this global horror only gets harder to capture, but here's a fact that graphically spells out the ruthless speed of this pandemic and its devastating impact. More people have died in New York in the last day than in nearly the whole of March. The state's death toll doubling since Tuesday to more than 3,000. And tonight, new hotspots erupting across the country with still no national strategy or unified defense plan. But here in the epicenter, the plea for help is piercing in its urgency. And with our team in place, New York is where we start tonight with Gabe Gutierrez.
This is the emergency room inside Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn. Doctors now call it a battle zone.
Everyone that's in here today is here due to breathing problems, almost uniformly all from COVID.
Tonight, growing anger from the nation's coronavirus epicenter.
We are afraid for our patients. We are afraid for our families. We are afraid for our lives.
At another hospital, these nurses are calling it a daily suicide mission with a lack of PPE, personal protective equipment.
This is life or death. Every hospital in the state of New York and across the United States should have the supplies they need.
Governor Andrew Cuomo has now signed an executive order allowing the state and the National Guard to take ventilators and PPE from hospitals that have too much and redistribute them to those who need it most.
Am I willing to deploy the National Guard and inconvenience people for several hundred lives? You're damn right I am.
The mayor is urging New Yorkers to cover their faces when going outside to keep them from spreading the virus to others. Now, an urgent scramble to find more critical hospital beds. With the massive Javits Convention Center changing course and now taking COVID-19 patients, there are mounting calls for the U.S. naval ship Comfort to do the same. So far, the 1,000-bed ship has treated only about 20 patients. Still, as the battle against the virus rages, there's a show of solidarity. Firefighters and EMTs cheering on their fellow soldiers, the overwhelmed doctors and nurses on the front lines, police officers delivering food.
Probably the busiest I've ever had to work or ever seen the hospital.
Dr. Joshua Davis works in an ICU.
It's really hard. Being able to be physically with a patient and their family during their biggest time of need is something that makes it easier for me and for many people to have to give bad news. And so to have to do this over the phone or over Skype and things like that, without physical proximity is really difficult.
The death toll today in the tri-state region topped 3,500. Among them, Frank Bocabella, a TSA officer at Newark, Sandra Santos Vizcaino, a third-grade teacher in Brooklyn.
Nobody loves you like your mom, so that's going to be the biggest thing.
Shoshana Davis was just 35, passionate about travel. She's survived by her 3-year-old daughter and husband, who will never forget the last time they spoke.
She squeezed my hand almost in a pattern that felt like she was saying, "I love you" back. So I knew that she'd at least heard me, and that somewhere inside she knew that.
Governor Cuomo says that more than 20,000 out-of-state medical volunteers have signed up to help. But late today, an emergency alert rang on phones throughout New York, urgently asking for more. Lester?
All right, Gabe, thank you. And tonight, a major shift in the guidance on how to protect yourself through all this. The CDC now saying people should use cloth face coverings when going outside. It comes as the virus rapidly spreads. Confirmed cases in this country now surpassing 250,000, with 7,000 dead. Here's Miguel Almaguer.